Welcome, if you dare, to the English Playbook. David, stop it. You're gonna scare our listeners way before we even start.
Okay, but seriously, everyone, welcome back. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. And today we have something really special and just a little bit spooky for you all.
That's right. We're diving into the world of scary vocabulary, ghost stories, and all the English expressions you need to talk about things that go bump in the night.
This is episode 21 of the English Playbook, and honestly, I'm already getting goosebumps just thinking about what we're going to discuss today.
Oh, and there's our first scary vocabulary word, goosebumps. We'll explain that later, but Sarah, you just used it perfectly.
I did, didn't I? Well, before we jump into the scary stuff, let me tell you what we're going to cover in today's episode.
Yes, so first we're going to listen to a dialogue about a group of friends investigating a haunted house. Very Scooby-Doo vibes.
It is very Scooby-Doo. Then we'll break down all the spooky vocabulary, words like haunted, creepy, spooky, and my personal favorite, scaredy-cat.
We'll also look at some really useful expressions that native speakers use when talking about being scared, like gives me the creeps and ultra spooky.
And later in the show, we're going to share some personal ghost stories, talk about superstitions from around the world, and I might just convince David that ghosts are real.
Good luck with that, Sarah. But listeners, whether you believe in ghosts or not, this episode is packed with useful, natural English that you can use in everyday conversations.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. This vocabulary isn't just for Halloween. You can use these words and expressions year-round to describe anything that makes you uncomfortable, nervous, or scared.
Right, like you might not encounter a ghost, but you might meet a creepy person, walk through a spooky neighborhood at night, or watch a scary movie.
Exactly. So this is practical vocabulary that will help you express yourself more naturally in English.
All right, before we dive in, quick reminder, if you're enjoying the English Playbook, please subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave us a comment telling us what you think.
Yes, and specifically for today's episode, we want to know, do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever had a supernatural experience? Comment below.
Okay, Sarah, I think it's time. Are you ready to enter the Haunted Mansion?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, everyone. So now we're going to listen to a dialogue. In this dialogue, we have a group of friends, Eddie, Wilma, Shabby, and Scruffy, and they're investigating a mansion that's supposedly haunted.
Ooh, I love this. It's like they're the mystery-solving gang. Now, as you listen, try to pick out the scary vocabulary words. Don't worry if you don't catch everything. We'll break it all down afterward.
Exactly. Just listen for the overall meaning and the feeling of the dialogue. Here we go.
Shabby, why are we at this scary-looking mansion? It's like ultra spooky.
I told you already, Shabby. The owner of the house says there's a ghost haunting his house, so we have to go in and investigate.
I don't like this.
Come on, guys, stop being such cowards. It's a mystery and an adventure.
This place gives me the creeps. Seriously, guys, let's get out of here. I'm getting goosebumps just being here.
Shabby is a scaredy-cat.
Wait, that laugh came from this room. Let's go and check it out.
Look, a ghost! Run!
Okay. I think I got a little too into character there.
You really did. You sounded genuinely scared. But that's great because it helps illustrate how these expressions are used when people are actually frightened.
Absolutely. So, what did you all think? Could you hear the fear in Shabby's voice?
Now, let's break this down. We heard so many useful, scary vocabulary words and expressions in that short dialogue. Sarah, where should we start?
Let's start right at the beginning with the very first thing Shabby says. It's like ultra spooky. Now, there are actually two interesting words here.
Right. First, we have ultra, and then we have spooky. Let's tackle spooky first. Sarah, how would you define spooky?
Spooky is an adjective that means something is strange, mysterious, and a little bit frightening. It's not terrifying, it's not going to give you nightmares, but it makes you feel a bit uncomfortable or scared.
Perfect explanation. Think about it like this. A dark, empty house at night is spooky. A strange noise when you're alone is spooky. It's that feeling of, something's not quite right here.
Exactly. And I love the word spooky because it's not too intense. It's almost a fun kind of scary, you know?
Yes, like you might describe a Halloween decoration as spooky or a creaky old building. Now, let's talk about ultra. Sarah.
Ultra is an intensifier. It's a way to make an adjective stronger. It means very or extremely or super.
Right. So when Shabi says ultra spooky, she means very, very spooky or extremely spooky.
And this is interesting because ultra as an intensifier is quite informal and modern. You'll hear it a lot in casual conversation, especially among younger speakers.
Can you give us some other examples of ultra being used this way?
Sure, you could say ultra cool, ultra expensive, ultra boring. For example, that new restaurant is ultra expensive. It cost me $200 for dinner.
Or this movie is ultra boring. I almost fell asleep.
Exactly. It's very versatile. You can put ultra in front of most adjectives to emphasize them.
Great. Now let's move on to the next scary word from our dialogue. Eddie says, there's a ghost haunting his house. The key word here is haunting. Sarah, what does it mean when a ghost haunts something?
Ooh, this is a good one. To haunt means that a ghost regularly appears in or visits a place. So if a ghost haunts a house, it means the ghost shows up there often, usually to scare people or just exist there.
Right. The verb is to haunt, H-A-U-N-T. And we often use it in the continuous form, haunting, or as a past participle, haunted.
Yes, so you might say, a ghost is haunting my apartment, or this house is haunted.
And haunted as an adjective is super common. You hear about haunted houses, haunted castles, haunted hotels.
Definitely. And here's something interesting. We can also use haunt in a metaphorical way, not just about ghosts.
Oh, that's true. Can you give an example?
Sure, you might say, that embarrassing moment from high school still haunts me. It means it keeps coming back to your mind, bothering you, like a ghost that won't go away.
Excellent example. So haunt can be literal about ghosts or figurative about memories or thoughts that keep troubling you.
Exactly. Now, let's move to another word from the dialogue. Wilma says, stop being such cowards. David, what's a coward?
A coward is a person who is not brave, someone who is too afraid to do things, especially things that might involve some risk or danger.
Right. It's actually kind of a harsh word. If you call someone a coward, you're really criticizing them for being too fearful.
Absolutely, it's not a compliment. In the dialogue, Wilma is frustrated with her friends because they're too scared to go into the house, so she calls them cowards.
And the interesting thing about coward is that it's both a noun and we have the adjective form, cowardly.
Good point. So you can say he is a coward, or he is cowardly, or that was a cowardly act.
Now, we need to talk about a similar but different word that appears later in the dialogue. Scruffy calls Shabby a scaredy-cat. David, what's the difference between a coward and a scaredy-cat?
Great question. So they both refer to someone who is easily frightened, but scaredy-cat is much more informal and much more playful.
Exactly. Scaredy-cat is actually kind of childish. It's the kind of thing kids say to each other on the playground.
Right. You won't go down the slide? You're such a scaredy-cat.
Exactly. Now, adults can use it too, but usually in a teasing, playful way with friends or family.
Yes, so if I said to you, Sarah, come on, don't be a scaredy-cat, I'm teasing you in a friendly way.
Right. Whereas if you called me a coward, that would be much more serious and insulting.
Exactly. So remember, coward is serious and insulting. Scaredy-cat is playful and informal.
Perfect distinction. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite expressions from the dialogue. Shabby says, this place gives me the creeps. David, this is such a useful expression.
It really is. To give someone the creeps means to make someone feel uncomfortable, nervous, or scared. It's that feeling of unease when something just doesn't feel right.
Yes, and we use this expression all the time in everyday English. It's not just for haunted houses.
Definitely not. Can you give some real-life examples?
Sure, let's say you're at a party and there's someone who keeps staring at you. You might tell your friend, that guy over there is giving me the creeps.
Perfect example. Or maybe you're watching a movie with creepy music and unsettling visuals. You could say, this movie is giving me the creeps.
Or what about a more serious situation? You're walking alone at night through an empty street. You might think, this empty street is giving me the creeps. I should walk faster.
Exactly. And notice the structure. Something or someone gives me the creeps. It's always gives me the creeps, or gives you the creeps, or gives him the creeps.
Right. You need the object pronoun there. You can't just say, this gives the creeps. You have to say, this gives me the creeps.
Good point. And Sarah, I have to ask, what gives you the creeps in real life?
Oh man, clowns. Clowns give me the creeps. I know they're supposed to be funny, but they just freak me out.
That's classic. A lot of people feel that way about clowns. For me, it's those big animatronic characters at theme parks. Something about them gives me the creeps.
I can totally understand that. Okay, listeners, comment below and tell us what gives you the creeps.
Great question. Now let's move on to another expression from our dialogue. Xavi also says, I'm getting goosebumps just being here. Sarah, explain goosebumps for us.
All right, so goosebumps, also sometimes called goose pimples, is a physical reaction your body has when you're cold or scared or sometimes even excited.
Right. Your skin gets these little bumps, especially on your arms and legs, and it looks kind of like chicken skin or goose skin.
Exactly. That's why we call them goosebumps, because they look like the skin of a plucked goose.
That's the same thing in many languages, actually. In Spanish, they call it piel de gallina, chicken skin. In French, chair de poule, also chicken skin.
Oh, that's so interesting. Different languages, but same imagery.
Now, we usually use the verb get with goosebumps. I get goosebumps or I'm getting goosebumps.
Right. So you might say, it's so cold in here, I'm getting goosebumps. Or in a scary situation, when I watched that horror movie, I got goosebumps during the scary scenes.
And here's something interesting. We also get goosebumps from positive emotions, like when you hear a beautiful piece of music or someone says something really touching.
Absolutely. I might say, that speech was so inspiring, it gave me goosebumps. Or every time I hear that song, I get goosebumps.
So goosebumps can be from cold, fear, or strong positive emotions.
Exactly. It's such a versatile expression.
All right, so we've covered a lot of vocabulary so far. Let's do a quick recap, Sarah.
Great idea. So we learned spooky, strange, and a little frightening, ultra, an intensifier, meaning very or extremely, to haunt, when a ghost regularly appears in a place, coward, someone who is not brave, serious word, scaredy-cat, someone who is easily scared, playful word, gives me the creeps, makes me feel uncomfortable or scared, and goosebumps, the bumpy skin reaction from cold, fear, or strong emotions.
Perfect summary. And remember, all of these words and expressions are used by native speakers in everyday conversation.
Yes, this isn't just vocabulary for English textbooks. This is real, natural English.
All right, everyone, we're going to take a deeper dive now into some specific language patterns that appeared in our dialogue. Sarah, what's first?
Let's talk about the pattern of using looking with adjectives. In the dialogue, Shabby describes the mansion as scary looking.
Yes, a scary looking mansion. This is such a useful pattern in English.
Absolutely. So the pattern is adjective plus looking plus noun, and it means that the noun appears to be or looks like that adjective.
Right, so a scary looking mansion is a mansion that looks scary. We don't know if it is actually scary, but it appears scary.
Exactly. It's all about appearance, and we use this pattern all the time in English.
Let me give you some examples. You could say, I saw a delicious looking cake in the bakery window.
Or, there's a suspicious looking person standing on the corner.
My neighbor has a friendly looking dog.
We stayed at a fancy looking hotel.
See how natural this sounds? It's a really productive pattern.
It is. And here's the thing. You can use almost any adjective with this pattern. The most common ones are adjectives that describe appearance or personality.
Right, so adjectives like good looking, bad looking, nice looking, mean looking, weird looking, strange looking, expensive looking, cheap looking.
And good looking is actually a fixed expression all on its own without a noun after it. If you say someone is good looking, it means they're attractive or handsome.
Great point. He's a good looking guy, or just he's good looking.
Now, one thing to note about this pattern, when you're writing it, sometimes you hyphenate it and sometimes you don't. But in speaking, it doesn't matter.
Right, you might see it written as scary looking with a hyphen, or scary looking without. Both are acceptable.
But in speaking, we always say it the same way, scary looking, with a natural flow between the words.
All right, let's practice this pattern a bit. Listeners, I want you to repeat after Sarah. Sarah will give you a sentence and you repeat it. Ready?
Ready. Here's the first one. That's a strange looking building.
There's a friendly-looking woman at the desk. I bought a delicious-looking pizza. He's wearing an expensive-looking watch.
Great practice. Now, listeners, I want you to try creating your own sentences using this pattern. Pause the video, think of 3 sentences using looking with different adjectives, and say them out loud.
Yes, actually practice speaking. That's how you improve.
All right, now let's take an even deeper dive into one of the expressions we learned. Gives me the creeps. This is such a common and useful expression in English.
It really is, and I think it's worth spending some time really understanding how to use it naturally.
Agreed. So let's break down the structure. The pattern is something, someone, plus gives, plus pronoun, the creeps.
Right, so you can say, this house gives me the creeps. That guy gives me the creeps. Dark basements give me the creeps. Horror movies give me the creeps.
And notice that the creeps always stays the same. You don't say a creep or creeps without the. It's always the creeps.
Exactly, it's a fixed expression, the creeps.
Now, we should also mention that creep as a noun has another meaning. If you call someone a creep, you mean they're weird, suspicious, or make you uncomfortable.
Oh yes, that guy is such a creep. It's an insult, basically.
Right, and the adjective form is creepy. If something is creepy, it's unsettling or disturbing.
Yes, that abandoned hospital is so creepy, or that's a creepy story.
So we have creepy, an adjective, disturbing, unsettling, a creep, a noun, a person who makes you uncomfortable, the creeps, a noun phrase, that feeling of unease, gives me the creeps, an expression, makes me feel uncomfortable.
Perfect breakdown, and all of these are related to that same feeling of discomfort or unease.
Exactly. Now let's talk about when you would use gives me the creeps versus when you might use other expressions.
Good idea. So, gives me the creeps is for things that make you feel uncomfortable or uneasy, but not necessarily terrified.
Right. If you're absolutely terrified, you might use stronger language like scares me to death or terrifies me.
But gives me the creeps is more about that unsettling, skin-crawling feeling.
Yes, like maybe you're not running away screaming, but you definitely want to leave the situation.
Exactly. It's that something's not right here feeling.
Can you give us a personal example of something that gives you the creeps?
Okay, so I mentioned clowns earlier, but actually, something that really gives me the creeps is when I'm home alone at night and I hear random noises, like the house settling or the wind, but my mind immediately goes to, what if someone's in the house?
Oh, yes, I totally understand that. Those unexplained noises definitely give me the creeps too.
What about you? What's a specific situation that gives you the creeps?
For me, it's when I'm swimming in a lake or the ocean and I can't see the bottom. Something about not knowing what's below me just gives me the creeps.
Oh gosh, yes, that's a common one. The unknown is scary.
Exactly, and that's what the creeps is all about. That feeling of unease about the unknown or the unsettling.
Perfectly said. All right, listeners, your turn again. Comment below and tell us what specific situation gives you the creeps.
All right, everyone, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about superstitions and ghost beliefs from around the world.
This is one of my favorite topics. It's so fascinating how different cultures have different beliefs about ghosts, spirits, and the supernatural.
Absolutely. And this ties into our dialogue because the characters are dealing with a supposedly haunted house, which is a very common theme in many cultures.
Right. So let's start with a general question. Do people in your country believe in ghosts?
That's a good question to think about. In English-speaking countries like the United States, UK, Canada, and Australia, belief in ghosts varies a lot from person to person.
Yes, some people absolutely believe in ghosts and have ghost stories to tell, while others are completely skeptical.
Right. But I would say that in general, Anglo cultures tend to be a bit more skeptical about supernatural things compared to some other cultures.
That's true. Although it's interesting, even people who say they don't believe in ghosts might still feel nervous in certain situations, like walking through a cemetery at night.
That's so true. It's like intellectually they don't believe, but emotionally they still get spooked.
Exactly. Now, even if people don't believe in ghosts, many English-speaking cultures have other superstitions.
Oh, yes, like the number 13 being unlucky. Many buildings don't have a 13th floor because people think 13 is unlucky.
Right. Or Friday the 13th being considered an unlucky day.
Or walking under a ladder is supposed to bring bad luck.
Breaking a mirror gives you 7 years of bad luck.
A black cat crossing your path is supposed to be unlucky.
Or opening an umbrella indoors brings bad luck.
See, we have lots of superstitions, even if we don't all believe in ghosts.
That's so true. Now, in Latin American cultures, which I'm more familiar with, belief in ghosts and spirits is much more common and accepted.
Oh, tell us more about that.
Well, in many Latin American countries, people have a much more open attitude toward the supernatural. Ghost stories, spirit visitations, and supernatural experiences are much more commonly accepted and discussed.
Interesting. What kinds of spirits or ghosts do people believe in?
Oh, there are so many. There are stories about La Llorona, the weeping woman who lost her children and now cries by rivers. There are stories about spirits of ancestors who visit their families. There are legends about creatures like duendes, little goblin-like beings.
Wow, that's so rich and interesting.
It really is, and many of these beliefs are tied to indigenous traditions mixed with Catholic influences.
That makes sense. The blending of different cultural traditions creates unique beliefs and stories.
Exactly, and these stories are passed down through generations. They're part of the culture.
Now, what about Asian cultures? I know there are fascinating ghost beliefs in countries like Japan, China, Thailand, and others.
Oh yes, Asian ghost traditions are incredibly rich and varied. In Japan, for example, there's a whole tradition of ghost stories called kaidan.
And in Chinese culture, there's the Ghost Festival, where people honor deceased ancestors and spirits.
Right, and in many Asian cultures, there are specific practices for appeasing spirits and ghosts.
Yes, it's much more integrated into daily life and cultural practice than in Western cultures.
Absolutely. And listeners, we'd love to hear from you. What ghost stories or supernatural beliefs are common in your culture? Comment below.
All right, David, now it's time for the segment everyone's been waiting for. Personal ghost stories.
Oh boy, okay. So Sarah, do you believe in ghosts?
You know, I'm open to the possibility. I think there are things we don't understand, and I don't want to completely dismiss people's experiences.
Fair enough. And have you ever had a supernatural experience?
Actually, yes. Something strange happened to me once that I still can't fully explain.
Ooh, tell us.
Okay, so this happened a few years ago. I was having dinner with my family, my mom, dad, and me. We were sitting at the dining table having a normal conversation.
Okay.
So on the table, there was a glass of water. It was full, just sitting there in the middle of the table. And suddenly, with no one touching it, the glass started to move.
Wait, what? It just started moving on its own?
Yes, it slid across the table, maybe about 6 inches, and then it started spinning slowly while it moved.
Are you sure there wasn't an earthquake or someone bumped the table?
No, that's what was so weird. Nothing else on the table moved. Not the plates, not the other glasses, nothing. Just this one glass.
That's okay, that is creepy. What did you do?
Well, we all just stared at it. My mom, my dad, and I all saw it happening. And then my mom started nervously laughing, like when you're uncomfortable and don't know how to react.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the glass just stopped. It stopped moving and spinning, and it was just normal again.
Did you ever figure out what caused it?
No, to this day, we don't know. My dad tried to rationalize it. Maybe there was a vibration we didn't notice. Maybe condensation made it slide. But none of those explanations really make sense because it also spun and nothing else moved.
That gives me the creeps just hearing about it.
Right? So yeah, I can't say for sure it was a ghost, but it was definitely unexplained.
Wow, okay, so I have to be honest, I'm pretty skeptical about ghosts. I tend to think there's usually a logical explanation for things.
But have you ever had an experience that made you wonder?
Actually, yes, just once.
Ooh, tell us.
Okay, so I was staying at an old hotel once for work. It was a historic building, probably like 100 years old.
Already spooky.
Right? So I'm in my room on the third floor and it's late at night. I'm trying to sleep and I keep hearing footsteps in the hallway outside my room.
Okay.
So here's the thing. They would walk past my door and then a few minutes later I'd hear them again going the other direction, back and forth, back and forth.
That's creepy.
Right? So finally, I got annoyed because I couldn't sleep. I opened my door to see who was walking around, and there was no one there. The hallway was completely empty.
What?
Yeah, and I could still hear the footsteps, but there was no one there.
Did you investigate more?
No way. I closed my door, locked it, and tried to ignore it. I'm not going to wander around a dark old hotel in the middle of the night.
That's probably smart. But see, you had an unexplained experience too.
I did. I still think there's probably a logical explanation. Maybe the sound was echoing from another floor, or maybe it was pipes or something. But in the moment, it definitely gave me the creeps.
See, even skeptics get spooked sometimes.
You're right. I'll admit it. In that moment, I wondered if maybe there was a ghost.
And that's the thing. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, certain experiences can make you question what you think you know.
Absolutely. And I think that's healthy, keeping an open mind while also being skeptical.
Exactly. Now, listeners, we want to hear your ghost stories. Have you ever experienced something you couldn't explain? Comment below and share your stories. All right, everyone, we're coming to the end of our spooky episode. Let's do a comprehensive review of everything we learned today.
Great idea. So today we explored scary vocabulary and expressions in English. Let's go through them one more time.
First, we learned spooky, meaning strange, mysterious, and a little bit frightening. Not terrifying, just unsettling.
Then ultra as an intensifier, meaning very or extremely. You can use it with almost any adjective. Ultra cool, ultra scary, ultra expensive.
We learned to haunt, when a ghost regularly appears in a place. The ghost haunts the castle.
And haunted as an adjective, a haunted house.
We discussed coward, a serious word for someone who is not brave.
And scaredy-cat, a playful, informal word for someone who is easily scared.
We learned the super useful expression, gives me the creeps, makes me feel uncomfortable or scared.
And goosebumps, those little bumps on your skin when you're cold, scared, or experiencing strong emotions.
We also learned the looking pattern for describing appearance. Scary looking, friendly looking, expensive looking.
And we talked about creepy as an adjective, unsettling or disturbing.
Plus all the related words, creep as a noun for a weird person, and the creeps as that feeling of unease.
We also explored superstitions and ghost beliefs from different cultures around the world.
And we shared some personal ghost stories that gave us chills.
Now, before we go, let's do a quick practice exercise. I'm going to give you a situation, and you think about which vocabulary word or expression would be most appropriate. David will give the answer after a few seconds.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Situation 1. You're walking alone at night through an empty parking garage and you feel uncomfortable. What expression could you use?
You could say, "This empty parking garage is giving me the creeps."
Perfect. Situation 2. There's someone at work who always stares at you and makes you uncomfortable. What could you call them?
You could say, "That person is so creepy," or "That person is a creep."
Great. Situation 3. You're watching a horror movie and your skin gets little bumps on it. What's happening to you?
You're getting goosebumps.
Excellent. Situation 4. Your friend won't go on a roller coaster because they're too scared. What could you playfully call them?
You could call them a scaredy-cat.
Perfect. And situation 5. You see an old abandoned house with broken windows and overgrown plants. How would you describe it?
You could say it's a scary-looking house or a spooky house.
Excellent work. See everyone, this vocabulary is very practical and easy to use once you understand it.
Absolutely. And the more you practice using these words and expressions, the more natural they'll become.
Now, here's your homework for this episode.
Homework? Laughs.
Yes, I want you to do 3 things.
Okay, what are they?
First, write 3 sentences using the looking pattern. For example, I saw a delicious looking cake.
Second, think of 3 things that give you the creeps and write sentences about them. For example, spiders give me the creeps.
And third, write a short paragraph, maybe 5 to 6 sentences, about either a spooky experience you had or a ghost story from your culture. Use at least 3 of the vocabulary words we learned today.
And bonus points if you share your answers in the comments below. We love reading what you write.
Absolutely. We read every comment, and it helps us understand what you want to learn.
Now, before we end today's episode, let's remind everyone what the English Playbook is all about. Yes, the English Playbook is your friendly guide to learning natural conversational English through engaging topics.
Every week, we explore different themes and teach you the vocabulary, expressions, and cultural insights you need to sound more like a native speaker.
We don't just teach you textbook English, we teach you real English that people actually use in everyday conversations.
Exactly. And if you enjoyed this episode, there are several things you can do to support us.
First, subscribe to our channel. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our episodes.
Second, turn on notifications so you get alerted every time we upload a new episode.
Third, give us a thumbs up if you liked this episode. It really helps us reach more English learners.
Fourth, leave a comment. We love hearing from you. Tell us what you thought of this episode, share your ghost stories, or let us know what topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
And fifth, share this episode with your friends who are learning English. The more, the merrier.
Absolutely. Learning English is more fun when you do it with friends.
Now, before we say goodbye, let's talk about what's coming up in future episodes.
Ooh, yes. So next week, we're going to be exploring expressions related to food and cooking.
Yes, we'll teach you all the vocabulary you need to talk about cooking, ordering food at restaurants, and describing different tastes and flavors.
And it's going to be delicious, metaphorically speaking, of course. You can't actually eat the podcast.
Although, wouldn't that be nice?
It would. And in future episodes, we're also planning to cover topics like travel vocabulary, business English, idioms and expressions, and so much more.
We have so much exciting content planned, and we can't wait to share it all with you.
All right, Sarah, I think it's time to wrap up this spooky episode.
I think you're right. But before we go, let me just say, even though we talked about scary things today, learning English doesn't have to be scary.
That's true. Learning a new language can feel intimidating, but with the right approach and the right attitude, it can be fun and rewarding.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone makes mistakes when learning a language. That's completely normal and okay.
Right. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning, and don't be afraid to use your English even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. The more you practice, the better you'll get. And we're here to help you every step of the way.
Well said. All right, everyone, thank you so much for spending the last 100 minutes with us.
Yes, thank you for your time and your attention. We really appreciate all of you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share.
And remember, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun with English.
Until next time, I'm David,
And I'm Sarah.
and this has been the English Playbook. Stay spooky, everyone.
But not too spooky.